Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's the Hybrid Live Show. Got a special guest coming momentarily. It is 5:32, the time I prefer to start. What time do you like to start, Ugly Dave in Canada?
No, I like 5:32 because it adapts for the time change between us.
Right? Like, it takes longer time for the signal
It
to
can't
reach
just be
there.
1 hour. Like, it doesn't just change 1 hour. There's slow increments of minutes.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you really not on Eastern time zone?
I am on Eastern time zone.
Okay,
I'm messing with you. Yeah.
You
Totally.
scared
Same
me
time
for a
zone.
second.
Absolutely.
Well, Dave, a lot's happened in the last 7 days since we last spoke. And I want to start with a little story about what happened to me on. Did it happen on Thursday or Friday?
It was Friday.
I think it happened on Thursday. On Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
On Thursday, I got to my location, which was I don't think it was one of these places. I think it was a coffee shop, and I opened my bag and my computer's not in it. Now that's happened 100 times. I text the wife, "Honey, are you looking at my computer?" And she's like, "Yes." Right? Goes for wallet, goes for glasses, goes for headphones, things I leave in the house all the time. Right? She's like, "I don't see it," and I'm like, "Well, I don't have it with me, and I'm at a coffee shop, so it's definitely there." She's like, "Honey, I've just looked everywhere." So I look on the Find My app. I have a Find My on my Apple, right? It shows you where you are. And if you look at the Find My, it looks like it's kind of like in the street in front of my house. And I'm like, all right, well, it's at my house. Now, it could be in the street in front of my house, but that would be really bad. But
Yes.
we've used it to, like track our kids, and it's not exact. It doesn't show the exact, like it's shown like in the trees. Like, oh, there's Jackson.
You're in the area. You're in the area.
So I pull up to my house, and sure enough, it is sitting there in the middle of the road. I've been gone about an hour, and I don't live on a very busy road, but I thought, well, it's right in the middle here in this black case, so nobody would have like actually run over it, probably, right? And so I open it, and I'm like, yeah, it's been run over because there's there's a little crack where the light should be coming in. So I take it to this place that's like fixed my computer many times, and I'm like, probably just gonna replace the screen, whatever. And they were like, "Hey, it's $800." I'm like, "Why is that?" They're like, "Well, Mac doesn't just let you replace the glass. You have to do this whole other fucking thing."
It's the Apple stuff.
So I love having an Apple, and I still wouldn't switch. And they last forever. But yeah, I'm fucked. So this is right before I go on a trip. I can't afford right now to give them $800 or buy a brand new Mac. So I'm using this older Mac of my wife's, which is really frustrating because it doesn't have all the shit that I want on it.
And it's not in the right location.
It's not in the right location. What do you mean it's not in the right location?
Well, like you have things on your screen in the right location. You get to used to where to find it, where to click it. Yes. And now it's moved, it's gone, and it's
well, it's even worse because I'll accidentally like open the Chrome, and it's under Emma's sign in, like she signs in and it has all her shit saved. So anyway, I'm a little discombobulated because of that, Dave, and I'm not happy. But listen, there are worse things in the world than someone running over your computer. You know what I mean? Things happen.
Yes,
stuff is replaceable.
It is, but it's annoying. It's a nuisance.
What are you typing?
I'm typing to you. You're gonna like this.
Oh, okay.
Private stuff here.
Oh, I'm excited. Well, well, she doesn't because it's the same fucking link you just got on.
I'm just telling you, she's tried. She's on a different thing waiting for you.
Tell her to go to her. Tell her to do it.
No. This is you. That said you.
Dave, I have a rule. Anybody from Canada is your responsibility. Tell her to open up a laptop and not from the phone. I think that's the key. Aren't you the one who told my last guest that? Didn't you tell?
No.
What's up, Sean Noble? But to see you, buddy. But to see you over there.
I actually have something with regards to Sean Noble that I wanted to talk about. It's not really regards to Sean Noble, but it's related to Sean Noble.
Right.
And it goes back to a thing, an incident with him.
Oh, well, that was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. That I ran over my fucking computer.
That sucks.
It does suck. We can move right into your and my Deca Atlas if you want to, or let's wait for Amber while you send her a thing.
I have sent her.
Do you want to talk about Sean Noble while we wait for Amber?
I do. So my thing with Sean Noble, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but I mean, I'm sure you saw these guys that were doing burpees in South Africa. And I mean,
I did.
At High Rocks, yeah, they've been going pretty popular. I think Hiller had them, and a bunch of people.
Oh,
had 'em.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
Your best friend Hiller. So were they lousy? I'm guessing they're lousy.
oh well, here's the thing: they are both amazing and lousy at the same time. These
Right.
guys are clearly incredible athletes. They got springs, but they are really, really completely nowhere near the proper standards, right?
Is there a
And-
judge anywhere near them or no?
No. We're not concerned about the judging. The interesting part is, and this is what I wanted to get to, is that like when Sean Noble had his issue with the lunges,
Yes.
High Rocks went back and video reviewed it out
Right.
of nowhere.
Right.
These guys were clearly doing some crazy shit, and as far as I know, there was no video review. Yeah, he didn't Frogger. Yeah, that's what the dude was like. Frogger. I mean, he would do a burpee and then full dive into the next one.
All right.
We're
Well,
talking like
who can I
3
bring up?
meters in front of his
Whose
feet.
account can I bring up besides Hitler? Who can I bring up?
Oh God, I don't know. I've seen it.
Did I
I've
tell
seen
did I tell you he did unblock me randomly though?
Did he? That's swell.
I know. Only because somebody commented on that video, the wall ball video from forever ago, and I touched it and I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm unblocked."
Yeah,
Um,
there you go. So anyway, so I'm just saying, where was the video review on that one?
Well, they're not Elite 15 athletes. Sean wanted to get to the Elite 15.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying it goes back to that kind of video review thing.
All right, what's up, Amber?
I'm fashionably on time. That's what's up. I was actually early. Okay, I was. I
All
swear.
right, so last time you were on, your microphone was incredibly hot, as they say. So I'm going to turn you down and see if it makes it any better. All right, go ahead.
Could just be that I talk really loud.
No, but it ends up not sounding great on the podcast. Like it's more noticeable. You know what else? Look how beautifully colored you and I are, and Dave is like in the 70s. Like, what's happening?
Look, this is where I reside. I'm old. I'm in the 70s.
No, but look, you see how we're pretty and colorful?
I see it. Here's the thing. I have not bothered to try to fix it.
Okay.
You know, there's a thing called a ring light. You should try it.
No, I actually have one. Do you know why I don't use it? Because the board behind me reflects it, like you see it in the board behind me. It's because, yeah.
I'm not using one today. I'm just under like spotlights.
But your hair is on workout point. You look like you got your workout hair on.
This is how I look every day because I work out like 5 times a day.
I think it's your headphones. Can you try to talk without them? Because seriously, I got to make it ideal for the listener. And like, I definitely manually went through and turned you down a bunch of times when I edited, which A is more work for me and B not ideal for the listener.
Okay, one sec. Let me disconnect them then.
Okay, disconnect.
I like to see Matt work more. I think it's good.
I do not.
Builds character.
I do not. Oh, and that's the other thing is I was like, okay, I can use my wife's computer, right, and pretty much get everything I need to get done. But guess what? The podcasts I already recorded aren't there, so there was no Thursday hybrid episode, and there was no ORM podcast at the end of the week. So that was another frustrating fucking thing.
Oh, jeez. Tragic.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, it's a lot
Actually, it is.
better.
Okay.
See? So better equipment doesn't always mean better sound.
No, you guys are quiet, but if I'm doing this, I'm just listening.
Well, just change your setting.
I've got the volume all the way up, but it's fine. I can hear you.
Okay, who makes those headphones so I know not to use those ever?
Samsung.
Okay. All right. Hey, if
They're
somebody's
really
got a
good. They're
link,
actually like soundproofing, so they're great when I'm like on the treadmill or dying through a workout and I can't hear myself heavy breathing.
right. All right. Well, if anybody has a link to those burpees, we'll have a peek at them. So, Amber, we're here to talk about DECA Atlas. I would love to say that I completed one of the few first ever second night of DECA Atlas, but I did not complete my DECA Atlas. I did start a DECA Atlas. So I talked to Dave at length already about this. Would you like to hear about my attempt at a DECA Atlas?
I would love to hear. I saw a video of you online doing it.
Right. Well, I did begin, and I began with zone 1.
Good spot to start.
He doesn't call
You
them
didn't start in zone 11.
He doesn't call them overhead thrusters. What does he call them? What does he call zone 1?
The barbell thrusters.
Barbell thrusters. Thank you. So I begin the barbell thrusters, and I feel something already go in this arm. Right. So I'm lifting. Let's. Can we put the whole camera on me? Let's do this. How do I do this?
How long have you been doing this?
I know.
There you go.
So I get to like number three, and I'm like this, right? And I'm like, oh, something's fucked up, right? So So I get through them. Well, no, first, Anthony, the guy whose gym it is, says, "We'll get closer to your body." I don't do a lot of overhead thrusters, so I closer in here. There. Okay, cool. We got through those. Now we go to what's 2?
Burpees over the bar.
Burpees over the bar. No problems there. I mean, they're tiring and they suck, but not a big problem. Zone number 3.
Surrender lunges.
Surrender lunges. Again, take a while, but I'm just one bite at a time, as we say, right? How do you chew the elephant? One bite at a time. Then what's next?
Ground overhead dumbbells.
Ground overhead dumbbells. Here we go. So I go down, and I put it down, and I go to my left, and I was like, oh, fuck. So I'm like, all right, I'll see if I can just finish them with the one hand, right? And I got about 10, and then I tried another one, and I could barely do it. It was a mess. So what's after that?
Bear crawl.
Bear crawl. Oh my God, what a stupid workout this is. Get through the bear crawl. Fucking horrible. Bear crawl is the worst thing in the world. Do the bear crawl. What's after that?
Sit-ups.
Sit-up. Also, not a problem. What's after that?
Farmers.
Did I get to farmers? Did the
you got
farmers?
the sit-ups, you got to the farmers.
I'm cruising this thing, man. I'm crushing it. I do the farmers. Then what's next?
Shoulder to overhead. Okay,
shoulder to overhead, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot do these, right? And I'm struggling through these. Is this double? Is this the double one?
2 hands, yeah. With dumbbell in each hand.
And this is not happening. Like, this is not happening. Like, it's one thing to like, okay, this is going to take forever, but I'm going to finish, as in a Deca Fit or Strong or a Hyrox. Like, I physically can't do it. Like, this is just dumb, right? So I call it. And I'm pretty upset, right? DNF, not thrilled. And the most frustrating part was this idea of like, and I think a lot of people can identify with this, which is just like, damn it, I don't want to be hurt again. Like, it's not, it's not about the workout, but it's like, fuck, am I ever going to be healthy? Right. And just kind of that downward spiral of negative thinking, which, I eventually got over, but in the moment it was like, motherfucker. And I just go to this place like, oh no, I can't do Hyrox when I go there next and all this shit. So, I would say that also the weights are still pretty heavy. So I would say don't do foundations, even if like you got to work your way to it. Cause that's the other thing. It's not light, it's lighter, but you are working, man. For the men's foundations anyway. Men's foundations is the same as women's heavy.
Yes. Yeah. Women's standard is the same as the men's foundation.
So, I mean, my buddy Clayton did it. He got through it. But I just think it is definitely like I think it's a next level situation because it's a lot, dude. It's a lot.
Well, they kind of said like at the beginning, it's not for everyone. And initially they didn't have the foundations even at first. But I think the foundations was a great addition when they announced that they were adding it in. Because it does introduce people to it at a lower barrier of entry, let's say, but it's still hard. Like, cause just like Deca Strong, like each thing individually is really not that bad, but the way they string it together is just awful. Say it nicely.
His goal is to get more CrossFit people, and I think for CrossFit people, it's a much more natural fit to do. So I think, but if you've just done DECA so far, but you're not working with that kind of weight on a regular basis, I wouldn't do it. Because again, you can kind of finish a strong or fit kind of no matter what. And I think an Atlas is, I know they said 30-minute time cap, not for everybody. I'm saying even foundations. And by the way, it should be RX. RX is CrossFit, and then foundations is like body weight basically, right? Isn't that what CrossFit, like it's different, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to you don't want to completely steal all CrossFit's terms and stuff like that, right? Like,
but why not just call it scaled or whatever? And then
because that's CrossFit's term, right? You don't want to steal all their terms.
Scaled is universal. Scaled isn't CrossFit.
I understand. Yeah, but so is the foundation. It's a foundational workout. Like I'm okay with the wording. I know wording is always a thing with you. We were going to call it labors, but it just didn't work. It was taken. Here's the thing. I actually don't mind the labors. I thought the labors was a good idea in the first place.
Every time I'm on here, we talk about the labors and the journeys. I think we just apparently we need to journey together.
I am sold on labors, Dave. After spending time,
they'll come around. Okay.
Not so journeys though. Not journey. He admits journeys.
The journeys.
The journeys. You gotta say it right. Can you say journey?
Journey.
Okay. Can you say labor?
Yeah.
Labor. I'll work on it.
Hang on one second. Houston, Texas 94 with a great thing here. Every time I hear Matt struggles and frustrations, I hope he thinks about the people in his peer group who are acting like they can't do anything and are on the downhill. That's what I'm saying. That's what I am thinking. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I want people to.
Here's the thing, though. When you say you don't know about the foundations or whether they had it or whether they should have it or whatever the case may be. If I was to tell you now, all right, great. The next step for you is to try to do the standard version. You'd be like, fuck that shit. Right. I'm out. I'm done. But now if I tell you what you need to do is you need to work out to the point where you can do the push press. Because quite frankly, I think the push press, especially in the location it is in the workout, is the hardest one.
I agrage.
That's the hardest part. So you're doing.
You don't think those bear crawl worst thing ever invented?
No.
But they're draining. Much like you say with a regular Deca Strong or whatever. You get through it, right? But with a push press overhead, it's I can do it or I can't. It's not generally I can just grind through it and take my time. It's usually I can do it or I can't. And for you now, all you get like Mike, if I was your coach, I would say, okay, great. We know this is the limiter. We know this is our problem. We need to get to the point where we can do essentially 70 pounds from shoulder to overhead because you're 35 in each hand. And that's it. And that's a much more attainable thing than if I was to go to you and go, okay, Matt, so now you weren't able to do that, but we need to get to 100 pounds, 50 pounds in each hand, straight overhead. And so you have that step.
So
and I'll be honest, when they said Foundations was first coming out, I was kind of like, I don't know. But I have kind of been turned around on the
Well, let me ask you this. Let's ask Amber, Coach Amber. If I came to you in your gym and I was hypothetically a 52, almost 53-year-old man, just hypothetically, that's not what I am, but let's just say I was. Asking for a friend. And I'm, kind of newer in my gym part of my fitness journey. I've been running pretty consistently, but I've got not a lot going on upper body wise. I'm fit enough, right? And I've started to do Deca and Hyrox, and I'm really enjoying them, and I want to get stronger and faster in those, right? I'd rather, and I want to focus on that, right? The thrusters and the shoulder overheads, that's training for something else, yes or no?
Well, okay, I mean, if you brought in Hyrox in there, I personally think Atlas better complements a training block for Hyrox because the strength piece of it transfers over very well. But the first thing I would do when someone comes in is just get them on a regular strength training routine, no matter what event it is that they're going to do, because that's going to really benefit them the most. So if you're not already regularly strength training, you need to be on a program and you need to be doing that with like a progressive overload approach, basically.
Right. Well,
that's like the long story short of it all.
I'm 2 months into my training program, right? It's March 3rd. I started essentially January 1st. I mean, I might have worked out a couple times in December, but really this year. And then you got to take out like a bunch of days where I traveled or I had a fucking cold. So it's like I'm really newer in it, but it just feels like that just feels like another level of the basic strength training. But again, I don't know enough about this to ask, and that's kind of why I'm asking.
Well, we do more like strength and conditioning. So, I mean, we're not doing like bodybuilding. Like it is a specific strength program that we're doing. But again, like that's where you need a coach who's going to train you for what it is you're looking to work out for, right? Like if you want to go do bodybuilding, that type of strength is not necessarily going to transfer over into what you want to do in Atlas. I mean, we can give you a good foundation, but you then need to work specific. And so the strength training needs to be directly towards what you're training for. So we're talking like you're going to want to be doing lots of pressing. You're going to want to be doing lots of squats, front squats, back squats. Like, there's more to it, right? But you need to be doing it on a program that's structured and intentionally structured would be the biggest thing.
Got it. All right. I also
But
learned
don't
why.
forget about your engine, because Atlas there is engine required. I mean,
Right.
there's volume in there.
All right. All right. Well, I want to tell you more about what I learned about what's going on with my shoulders and stuff, but I do want to hear about your experience. Dave, I know you and Rye went to judge. Did you also put down a time?
For Deca Atlas.
Yes.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we both did. Rye did a foundations because she's dealing with some tendonitis in the elbow and stuff, so she just wasn't feeling up to doing the full weights. And then I did the standard weight. And so I will say, I know you're going to like this, Matt. I am the age record holder. I think, yes, worldwide age group record holder of the nation across the sea. Yes, that's the
Okay.
official.
So you don't own the world record, but you own the Canada record?
No. Seriously, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I probably have the top time for age group right now in the 2 weeks that it's been out.
In North America. In all of North America.
All of the world, Matt, worldwide.
Okay, congratulations.
My tattoo is being drawn up as we speak.
Well, just change your IG promo. That's the big
You know what? You gotta own it while you can.
You found the presses to be where you were really meeting your maker. That's where you saw the.
For me personally, no, but I do think that for a lot of people, the workout is very much shoulder dominant. And by the time you get there, you're in round 7, basically. You've done a lot of shoulder work, and independent dumbbell shoulder to overhead at that point can be very tiring, can be very hard on you. And that's where I saw it in judging throughout the whole day. Most people that had troubles ran into the troubles there because it became hard to fully extend both arms. You don't use a barbell, you're single. It's like independent suspension. It becomes more difficult. So that is where, to my mind, where the rubber meets the road.
Hey, you remember when I had that old Renault and we had to fix the independent suspension?
Old Renaults didn't have independent suspension, did they? Anyway, but yeah, that's
you don't remember. You don't remember.
No, not that one. No.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's where I find most people come into problems. Is the shoulder to overhead? It gets harsh. It gets nasty. And
did you have an idea? Did you want to be sub something when you started?
I was 15:30 in my sim before. I wanted to beat my sim. I was 45 seconds faster, and that included 12 seconds lost on a skipping rope explosion.
When you say explosion, like you dropped the rope or it broke? Or
no, like the
gas?
handle flew off. The rope came unattached from the handle. It just blew apart, and it was my own rope. So I can't even blame Amber. It was my deal. It was one of her ropes that saved me. So luckily, we scrambled in 12 seconds, got another one, and got back to work.
I had 3 there for you. Lots of options.
They were right there. So, and luckily, we grabbed one that was the right length. So
Amber Tate, I know you follow the rules. Does the rule say I can bring my own rope?
It doesn't say you can't.
Okay, then. Dave?
I will tell you that you can.
Okay.
I will tell you officially that you can.
Because there's no advantage or disadvantage about having a heavier or lighter rope.
Well, here's the problem. If say as a gym, Amber has skipping ropes, but they're non-adjustable, right? And then you have to use the same rope if you're 5'2" as a dude who's 6'7". That's not realistic to ask. So people are allowed to bring their own ropes because that way they can customize it to their own height.
Do you remember when we fixed that old Jeep and it was a non-adjustable suspension, no?
The non-adjustable suspension?
You remember?
don't even sound like the Frenchman, eh? You got to put in some, like that. You got to talk more assertive in that way.
I just talked to Ryan Atkins and Sammy Lebear. I don't want to brag. I'm a very important person. So I had them on the podcast to talk about Dubai, and I kept trying to do it, but I kept sliding into Italian, and it was really a mess. So I'm apologize now to all French, all Montreal Canadians or Canadians about my horrible French, which will also sound like Italian, over on the Obstacle Racing Media podcast, where people think I don't do podcasts anymore, but I do. I digress. Amber Tate, did you say I want to be the Montreal record holder? Did you say I want to be sub 12? What were you going for, Amber Tate?
The Montreal record holder. Yeah, in Montreal, sure. I'm nowhere near there, but we'll take it. Did I get the Montreal record?
I think you did.
Okay.
Never have the record.
No, you know what? I just set my own personal records. Like, I like to set benchmarks that are within reason but gonna challenge me. Like, leaderboard aside, it's more like a personal journey, you know. So I had previously done a sim that was 11:21, and that was a few months back when they first announced it. And everybody was super excited to like try it. And my fitness has come a long way since then.
I did it in my backyard by myself.
Yes, I remember that. But I told myself like I knew like what I could do in each zone, and I thought it was going to be close, but I could push a sub 11 if I was having a feel good day. Well, I made the rookie mistake that I know better than to make, and I went out hot. So let's just say we didn't go sub 11, but slowing down the front half would definitely help me to improve my back half, because I am stronger in the back half than what I did on the weekend. So anyways, my goal is just to do better than I did this time, records aside. I want to see myself go sub 11 by the end of the year, and we're going to work for it. So,
but in fairness, you did improve by
a second. But Kevin Gregory still beat me by 2, so we're not stopping at 11:20. Let me tell you that much.
But let me ask you, do you have, when you start and you crank out those first however many, did you have like, I don't know, your husband or a friend going like, okay, breathe, like you might be going out too hot, or take it, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Zach
get to like,
does not say you're going out too hot.
No, Zach's like, you gotta go. You gotta move faster.
Okay.
You know what? So shout out to my friend Grace Tiffany. She is a gem, and she's really good at knowing me as an athlete, and she's a splits girl. Like she knows her splits and stuff. I don't know if she was telling me to slow down or not. I was just going for it. Like I just told myself, like, let's just go out hot and see if we can hang. So I didn't hang.
Which is another strategy, right? That's another way to do it, right? And I think in an 11-minute workout, you can do that. You can't do that in High Rocks, which people try to do all the time. In an hour workout, you cannot, but people try.
Yeah. But now knowing that, I will flip that script next time I do it, because I know my splits in the back half were a lot slower than I'm capable of, even compromised. So now knowing that, I will intentionally slow down my burpees. Like I did my burpees in like 45 seconds.
They were very fast.
Like I was moving. So I think I could take closer to like 55 seconds and probably save 20 seconds later on in the race. So it's kind of like the row. I like to compare the burpees to the row. Like, you know how everybody always says, like, pace the row. That's how I will now tell everybody, pace your burpees. And that's a good station for me. So I was going to try and optimize there, thinking, like, I'll slow my heart rate down in the surrender lunges, because you can kind of only go so fast in those. But, well, you live and you learn. And I had a blast. So I felt great doing the burpees. Let's just put it that way.
But don't I do the surrender lunges better if I wear some big old knee pads?
Yeah, those felt great, actually. Okay, so here's my thing with those knee pads. So every year at Worlds, I'm always doing the lunges, and you just come in full tilt, and you just hammer that first knee down, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, there's depth. So by the end of World Championships, I always have this like brutal knee for the first 6 months of the year. So with the surrender lunges, where you have to be like fully like weight bearing at the bottom, because Worlds was only 2 months ago, my knee is not healed yet. So those made a big difference. They're also like, they're knee sleeves. They're supposed to help improve your squat and like help you get out of the bottom of your squat better. For someone who struggles in like squats, I didn't notice a difference, but I did feel really good doing my surrender lunges. So I'll probably wear them again.
So at the event I was at, they had a mat for when we did those.
Yeah, I had a mat.
Okay.
But it's like the pressure of my knee fully weight bearing. I should probably go get it checked out. But here we are.
Right. Okay.
Just leave it at that.
And then how did you? And then how did it go? Like, how many people came through your event over the weekend?
We had about 100 races go through between the Strong and the Atlas.
Right.
So Atlas was interesting because we had a good amount of people through, but a lot of people were doing the Strong saying, I want to see it first, because they don't know what it looks like, right? I think it was good. We had a large variety of like capabilities doing the Atlas. We even had a youth, shout out to Kaya from my gym. She's 15 and she crushed it. So like we really had a lot of different levels, and I think it was good for people to see that. And I had a lot of feedback of people like, are you going to do another Atlas? I want to try it. So I think the next time we host, we'll just host an Atlas and it's so easy to set up. Oh my God. And it'll be such a vibe. Like when you have like 6 lines set up and everybody just thrown down with some like hard rock music, it was so fun.
Yeah, it's a decent event. It's really good. It's interesting to hear Amber say that, like, on the burpees, because I suffer from this in a regular strong with the row. It's a station I'm very good at, much like you with the burpees. And it's like, this is a time where I would love to make up ground. And at the same time, you can't, because if you do pull, so it's really hard. So you just have to almost take it as I've done this. I'm good at this. This is, even though I'm going the same pace as everybody else, I'm not exerting myself as much. And that way I can save that for later. It's really hard to dial that in mentally.
I think next time I would, like, now having done it both ways, because my 11:20 was like 6 months ago. Like I can do better than that now, with better pacing. I think next time I'll actually build my pace like as we go, and just kind of pick it up as we progress. I think that's going to be a better option, because like I in theory should be able to do the push press in no more than 2 sets. Like 13 and 7 should be like my max breakup, and I did like 12, 4, and 4. Like it was not good for me. So building my pace as we progress through the race would definitely be a smarter strategy for me. So we'll give that a go next time.
I found for
it's
this
very
one,
specific. It's very specific. 13 and 7.
Yeah. So you always want to do your larger set in the beginning, and then leave your last set to be your small set.
Mentally, it helps so much.
Yeah.
How do you do 100 wall balls?
I cry.
I'm broken.
Honestly, I feel like that's just depending on the race. Same thing though. I try and start with like a bigger set and then get smaller and smaller and smaller. So my last set ends up being my smallest set. I've done it. Every race has been different, so I can't really tell you. I've ended up doing sets of 3 before, and I've ended up finishing with a set of 15. So it depends on how I think the rest of my race goes.
Matt, have you ever heard this descending from 16 wall balls? So you do set of 16, set of 15, set of 14, set of 13, set of 12, 11, 10, 9, and you're done.
That's how you get to 100?
Yep.
That sounds great. That sounds genius.
It is quite a few breaks, but if you keep them short, I actually did it this weekend. But yeah, that's that same thing. In your mind, it's like, okay, it's 1 less rep next time. It's 1 less rep next time.
I like that.
I did the first time I did it, I did 40, 30, 20, 10.
Yeah, there you go. That's solid.
Yeah, I'm not ready for 40, but I like starting at 16. That's good. All right. Amber, did you do 25.1?
No, I was going to do it today. And I'm not signing up. I do it just to do it, because I just kind of like to fit those workouts in and around my training, like when it makes sense. I don't like to like mess up my training block to fit in a random workout that doesn't really benefit me in any way. So I'm going to do it this week. I haven't really checked out the scores yet. I think people are getting upward to 30, I think, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Miriam broke the bank.
What's the highest? No. I mean, I don't plan on like winning. I'm hoping to get like mid-20s. Like I was looking at what like the top scores. I saw some upward into the 30s. I think if I can get mid-20s.
No. It's the
reps.
Right.
Yeah. So Miriam, they had a checklist, right? A scoreboard checklist. There you go. And they had their scoreboard, their paper you print out, and Miriam went past what they had printed out as far as rounds.
Hang on. This guy somebody sent me the Hiller video. This is amazing.
I told you, it's amazing yet terrible all at the same time. See, Matt, you got to put that up on the computer now.
I mean, he's getting after it, though. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, he's a legit athlete. Like there's spring in the step there.
Yeah.
The other thing I did see about these guys too, which is kind of funny, they actually, I bet you they're good guys, but you saw they did the sled, and they did the sled where they pulled it right off the carpet. They never at any time got in the box or on the carpet and pulled it right off the carpet, but they're like walking into the zones and then just hammering the hell out of the stations.
Somebody
I mean, like,
commented
you'd
that-
have to physically grab them and stop them to make
Yeah.
them go back. Like, they're not stopping if you're telling them they're not doing it right.
And they look like they're having a great time.
I mean, it's one of those things where there's finding the advantages. There's if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, and then there's do you know what like how do you not know that's not allowed? Like that's not even close. That's like your friend just invited you and you kind of thought you saw what people were doing, and so you just go, oh, like a frog, and you just went.
So apparently in the comments, people say, "Hey, did you not even read the rules?" And their response is, "No."
He responded, no.
Yeah, it's like, no.
But again, like the concept of again, like anybody who cuts corners, right, or does the shuffle step on the lunges, or kind of how Hunter used to do those by falling forward a little bit,
yeah,
is one thing. But like just like whee, it's like what even is that? Wow.
I mean, I don't think there's an advantage. He's probably gassed by the end of that.
I don't, and it looks like kind of a big dude.
Oh, they look like powerful guys.
What
But
was their
is-
run split? I would
Well,
love
it's
to
kind of
know.
messed up because if you look, I did check their splits, and it's like only got 4 runs, and then it's gone, and then like the last run's like 7 minutes, and then there were like 32 minutes in the rock zone. So I mean, the timing is just all messed up.
Speaking of rock zones, do you want to talk about the battle, the Thunder Down Under, the battle in Australia?
Yes, but I think it's time we come up with a new phrase other than Thunder Down Under, because it's
I'm
just
sorry.
It's just come on, let's get.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
When you say Thunder Down Under, it makes me think of Magic Mike.
Proud to say I've never seen that movie.
Well,
I think
because there's a show in Vegas that's like Magic Mike. but
I
it's
have
called
also
Thunder
not
Down
seen.
Under.
I have also not
That's
seen
right.
Magic Mike. I have not watched Magic Mike, but I can tell you that people on seats near me on the plane have watched Magic Mike, because I see, like, everywhere I look, I see it, and I'm like, oh, that must be Magic Mike.
There you
But I have not, in fact, watched Magic Mike. Not that I'm opposed to it; it just hasn't been like, in the whatever. So, let me find this. Hang on. Joanna Wettrick and Hunter McIntyre faced off against Tia and James in High Rocks. Tia and James had raced once before, and this was them going head to head with Hunter and Joanna. And I gotta say that I don't know how Tia doesn't just basically scare the shit out of everybody. Like, just watching her do anything is intimidating. I mean, she's just a fucking presence. And that goes to, and I think that's something about when like people get to that, like that unbeatable level, right? That Tiger Woods, which eventually ends, we know, for everybody. She might retire before that ends for her, but just watching her run and do wall balls, and I was just like, oh my God, like those girls have to be scared shitless when they're like standing next to her on any floor. So I'm just going to say that first. Did you guys, by the way, watch? I know they had it live. I was asleep. I didn't go back and watch it later. I just watched a lot of the highlight reels and and I broke down the zones fantastically, which we're going to do here in a minute.
Nice. I did not. I wanted to. I think it was it JK's sister streamed it or something like that?
Yes. It's called Hybrid Sport Media.
Yeah.
Bernice filmed it, and I haven't seen it, but like I said, I watched a lot of the fun highlights. I know Dave's laughing at a comment. I have to go find it.
Yeah. No, it's top one.
Is he asking or telling you?
He's probably telling me. No. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. I think Tia's presence is amazing. Like, she is, like you say, she's just an imposing figure.
Yeah, and I just don't know the last person I felt that way about. I mean, I've been like, unless I was like near Shaq or another NBA player.
Isn't that what the guys used to say about Hunter when he was on the start line of races? Is that he was just an imposing figure, and he automatically had an advantage just from his aura, so to speak.
Yeah,
and I think that just comes straight from success.
Yeah, and even if someone has and I'm sure all the women at the CrossFit Games, even if they're consciously saying, like, doesn't matter, I got this. Like, if they don't really believe it in their heart of hearts, then it's like, you ain't beating that lady.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
But I just say success breeds that. Success breeds that. Breeds that.
Absolutely.
It's like if I was to go with just an age group thing for me, if I see Ivan Milan on a start line with me in a strong, I'm like, I know better, right? The regular person might not go to him and say, "Oh, I see this intimidating figure, this aura," but I know better, and I know when I see him, I'm like, that's a guy that's intimidating. He's got, you got to beat him. You're not gonna luck into this. Now you have to win. So I just think that aura or anything for anybody who has it, it's come straight from success, and she's earned it.
All right, so I mean, look at that beast. Great picture, by the way. Shout out whoever took that picture.
Glad they are embracing the team's uniforms.
Right? Well, and she went with the CrossFit leader colors, right? Smart, right?
They're good team.
Right? So here's your running segments.
Okay.
And probably what we would imagine, right?
Yeah.
For Hunter and them to be a lot faster.
Yeah.
So just that alone is tough to overcome, Dave.
Oh, it's massive. That's a massive difference. Like it is interesting, I guess. Tia and James' improvement in this particular race didn't really come on the run as much as in the rock zone and a couple of stations is where they made up their time.
Well, I want to get to the rock zones in a minute, but let's go to the stations. So I get my assumption would be that they would win all the machines, Tia, but they did not.
I'm not entirely surprised. Hunter is very good on the machines, and especially when you get to the rower, we're talking so far into an engine-based workout. So he's very solid on it. Joanna is very long, so that's good for her on the rower. So I'm not terribly surprised. I would have been, I think, on the skier. I would think that. Well, how did the skier go?
Hang on, let me get this thing bigger. There we go. It's still not big enough. What the fuck?
So yeah, Hunter and Joanna, because and experience, right? You're getting in and out of the zone. You're getting the transitions. They're doing the handoffs to each other. It's not terribly surprising. I would be more surprised if, and I would have thought they would have done better on the sleds. But I think just with the race, the pace that they're pushing on the runs, it's going to come back in their stations.
It's really pissing me off. Okay, so the ski erg, T and James were 8 seconds slower.
Yep.
Sled, 14 seconds, pull 16 seconds, BBJ 11 seconds, row, here we go, finally an advantage, right? They rode 6 seconds faster. I didn't see if they switched once. I'm guessing they switched once, probably, right?
Possible. I don't know. It's really tough to say what their strategy would have been for that.
Right. And then here they closed very strong, 20 seconds faster on the lunges, which is just 219, right? And then 23 seconds faster on the wall balls. They got to the wall balls as they were finishing. And then only 6 seconds more on the rock zone, but it was a minute faster than their previous rock zone time, right? And so Brian Spin asked me, he's like, how is that possible? I'm like, well, for the normal person, you could see someone walking more in the rock zone or whatever, but that's not going to be the case for her. So just a massively wobbly layout, worse or better.
The rock zone could be completely different in size. You can't compare rock zone to rock zone. Even when you're going to the same venue, it can be so different in the layout, so different in the way they set the footing. That's probably the hardest thing to compare event to event is rock zones. I mean, what you would need to do if you really wanted to see the improvement is compare their average on this one compared to their average on the last one. And then that would show you that would give you a better idea of if they had a really big improvement there or not.
Average in the rock zone?
Yeah. So the overall average of, say, the pros in the rock zone at their previous race.
Oh, gotcha.
Compared to the overall average of the rock zone and how they did comparatively at each race.
Right. But and here's what's crazy for those that are curious, is this the world record? No. Ronco has the world record. Ronco and
I can't remember. He had a 10K runner girl with him, I think.
No, it was a somebody's going to tell me in the chat.
Anyway,
it's a high roxer. Anyway, the point is that you would think who's going to run that would push you to a world record place, you would think. And again, I just think that goes back to probably probably course.
Yeah. There's way too many things to really say how it compared from one to the next. I think they probably, and like I say, by finishing the way they did, they probably improved.
Right, but they're not ever gonna make up 2 minutes on the run.
It's a tough ask.
Right?
It's a tough ask. Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, just goes to show how much running plays into it, and how you can't not get, like, you just have to get faster.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're 50% or more is running, and then you have 8 different stations. So essentially, you have like 9 elements to a Hyrox, and 50% of those elements are running.
See, I told you it was a Hyroxer. It's Alice Shearer. Is she a marathoner as well? I thought she was just a Hyroxer.
I don't know. I thought she was a good one, but I could be wrong. Anyway, for the record, actually, Bronco has since he has the open record, which is faster than the mixed doubles record, he kind of has that record too.
Yeah, but I don't care about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's good. I think they're doing great. I think they will be a force at World Championship should they decide to go. And I think they have a legit shot at winning, partly because they're doing great, but also partly because, let's just say, most of the Elite 15 field and the high level there are going to be focused on the female, male races, because that's where there's going to be prize money and like a bigger prize purse for those races. So they're going to focus there. So all your people out of the Elite 15, like, you're not going to be against Hunter and Joanna at Worlds in mixed doubles.
Why won't you be?
Because they're likely going to run, if they're going to run they're going to run the Elite 15. And then
Right.
If they're going to run a doubles, they're going to run a male and female, because that's where the Elite 15 doubles are, and more.
Why can't they do both?
They're not going to do both.
You don't think if Hunter has a chance to race them again, he won't do it?
For no money? No, I don't think he will.
I think it would depend on the schedule, because he's there anyway.
100% he is. Yeah, I think 100% he will.
I think if it's like his C race and it's the last race of the weekend, I think he would do it.
But it won't be the team relay will be the last race of the
right.
event.
But that's going to be on Sunday. If they race doubles, if they race Elite 15 doubles Saturday morning and mixed doubles late in the afternoon, he is 100% doing both.
Okay.
I do not know this in personal knowledge, but I will ask him when I see him in Glasgow.
I would be surprised. I wouldn't. If he wasn't doing the team race after, sure, why not? But Joanna's going to be doing the team race after.
The team race is the next day, and there's only 2 stations and 2 runs.
I'm just telling you.
Okay, who agrees with me? Who agrees with me? Alex or Hybrid Engine, what do you think? And Todd, what do you think? If I was coaching
an athlete and they told me I want to run this other race for nothing more than just to run that race, when I have a competitive race the next day when there's prize money on the line and 3 teammates counting on me, I'm telling them, fuck no.
Is there prize money? Is there prize money for relay?
Remember the World Relay last year?
Was there prize money for it?
Yes.
No, there wasn't.
Yes,
I didn't think there was prize money.
Oh yeah.
All
I
right.
believe it was like $25,000.
All right, Dave is completely making stuff up now. We have lost the plot completely.
I'm sure there was prize money for the World
okay.
Relay last year.
All right. When I see Hunter, dude, he is not going to let Tia and James be the world champs. I'm telling you, he's not going to let it. They will only do the money races, says Anthony. But Anthony, he'll know.
Yeah, he just said what I said.
No, but Anthony
agrees with me.
Agree with Dave all you want. You're wrong. You don't know Hunter. Hunter's not going to let a fucking CrossFitter take the Hyrox World Championship. But you didn't answer the question about the money for relay, Anthony. Okay, does anybody agree with me? You clearly do not know Hunter very well.
I agree to a point. Like, if it was my last race of the weekend, prize money or not, I would probably do it if it was the last one.
We know this already.
Yeah, but it's not the last race of the weekend.
You're saying because he has a relay.
That's what I'm saying. Because if he has a relay, if they are doing another Team USA relay and there is money on the line, right? And then that means his team, he'll have 3 people on his team relying on him to show up and be at his best.
Brian the Ginger agrees with me.
Yeah.
Listen,
but I would personally think that
if it was another doubles, if Sunday, let's just say, was another doubles,
there you go.
World Relay had 20K on it last year. Okay, so the Brits split. They all got 5K. Fantastic. All right, money or no money, I'm telling you, If they're 2 hours later, no. If it's later in the day, I bet he does. Again, I'll find out soon.
Okay.
I'm going to text him right now, you
I was
motherfuckers.
gonna say, why don't you just message him? Let's just
Here's
settle
the
this
thing.
debate.
He's
Now,
still-
here's the thing. You go
Because if
ahead
he's
and
still
text him
over
right
there,
now.
it's like
You
Hey,
text
Siri,
him
what
right
time is it
now,
in
and I will
Australia right
take
now?
absolutely none of it with any authority whatsoever because Hunter will just tell you whatever the hell he wants right now and then do whatever the hell he wants later on.
All right, it's 10:22. It's 10:22 in
A
Canberra.
lot can happen
right now.
between now and June.
Yeah, like Hunter can just switch his mind. Yeah, so I'm just saying, if I was a coach of an athlete and that was a situation, I would say, no way you're doing that race. That's foolishness. That's just, you don't need it. Especially if you've already done an Elite 15 race, an Elite 15 doubles, and now you're going to jump, and you still have an Elite team race to go.
Well, it's true. We've all made those judgments even on the spot too. Like I've reduced volume at Worlds on the spot,
Didn't-
knowing that my later race was more important. I didn't have it in the tank to do that one and perform later where I needed to. So,
Yep.
I mean, it can even be like he might even go into it saying he's doing it and then maybe don't do it. Like I've done that at Worlds and it was for a bigger purpose, and I'm glad I did it because I got the job done I needed to, right? So
Now, in that scenario too, you went out of a solo race, dropped out of a
Mhm.
solo race to focus on the team race because you had a teammate relying on you as well.
yes.
Like that
Correct.
plays into it. So as it should with Hunter. So I mean,
All right, can we bet something on it, Dave?
I will gladly bet you a pizza. This is my standard bet
Okay, so
because I
You
can't bet
still
you a
owe me
beer.
pizza, by the way.
Do I owe you one?
Yeah.
I gotta get one from Dustin Needham. I owe you one, and I owe.
well,
Tim,
I will
maybe.
collect immediately. I will walk up to you when he stands on the start line and say, "Can you give me my pizza now?" And we'll go into the hallway of the hall, and you'll buy me a pizza. Ooh, we're in Chicago
I'm
too,
not in-
so
I would if I was in Chicago, but I'm probably not going to be there. But
you're
I
coming.
will.
What are you talking about,
Dude, I'm not involved in the race. I'm not going to shell out all that money to go to Chicago.
Dave?
Yeah.
You co-host 2 shows about fitness racing.
Yeah. And if somebody pays my way, I will go.
Okay, Amber.
Yes.
Can we find a way to have your gym send
Oh yeah.
Dave to the World Champs?
Dave, let's team up. Let's qualify.
There you go.
Listen,
What age group would that put us in?
You and I are both renowned runners.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I've come a long way in my running.
You have,
Okay.
you have. I'm actually going the other
Shout
way.
out to
I was
Tara
going
Jackson. Actually,
Amber-
it's funny. I have to talk about this for a second because when I started doing high rocks, it was kind of funny because my background is actually gymnastics. Like I was a high level gymnast where like a hard effort was like max 90 seconds. So now all of a sudden I'm like trying to just, redirect that athleticism into a totally different avenue. However, there's one of the, I won't even say names, doesn't matter, but there's one of the British gymnasts who was on the Olympic team, literally did this whole post about how he's like trained for 90 seconds of effort. Now he's like, why in the heck am I trying to do this race? And it was so funny. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Anyways, but it's really cool to see like more backgrounds jumping into high rocks. And we're talking like high level athletes. Like he's been to the Olympics multiple times. But anyways, so carry on, Matt. Sorry, fun fact.
Can I just heard back from Hunter. Can I amend
what
my
does it
bet? Can I amend my bet?
say?
He's not doing it.
Let's just say it's a
record, I
maybe
like-
at this
I
point
like-
because I don't even know if I didn't tell him I'm like asking for a podcast either. Not that he would give a shit, but I don't think so. I don't think he's doing it. But now that I have a what do you call it? Now that I have a vested interest, I'm just gonna put that bug in his ear. You're gonna let a high roxer take a world. They're never gonna stop talking about it, dude. You can't let the CrossFitters do that. He'll be like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. Yes, I think what Todd says is he will want redemption more in the relay than keeping James and T. So I forgot that piece. That's a very valid point, Sholos. He hates to lose more than he likes to win. And yeah, I think losing to the Brits last year, I think we didn't have Lauren, we didn't have one of our best gals, unfortunately. Who did you guys have? Who did you guys have, Dave?
We had Maria Fetchik. We
Right.
had Katie Simonson. We had
Cole.
Cole Learn, and then we had Adam, the swim guy.
Did you
Adam
how'd you guys do? Did you guys beat? How did you guys do? Do you remember?
I think they were like
Top
10.
10.
Yeah, 8th.
Yeah. Hey, Amber, back on what you were saying. So I pay far too much attention to my Instagram followers, and so I look pretty frequently, and I'll see like a triathlete, a runner, a swimmer, and I almost always follow them right back. And I'm like, hey, you gonna do one? Which one are you doing? And some of them are like, yep, I already signed up, or I'm just looking at it, or leave me alone. Why are you DMing me? One of those things. But yeah, it's super cool to see all the different sports coming in. See so now he agrees with me, but I forgot about the not losing piece. But yeah, we'll see. Like you said, it could all change. Who knows? I mean, we are gonna have the doubles finally coming up. Our first Elite 15 doubles coming up in Houston in 2 weeks. Some Elite 15 racers are leaving Scotland and flying because it's Wednesday is the race, and then the doubles won't be till Saturday in Houston. So that's kind of cool.
So there is another element to what you say about Joanna and Hunter teaming up to do, if they were to want to team up, like you said, with Hunter. Is Joanna going to want to do that, or is Joanna going to be in the Elite doubles? Because maybe she's going to partner with Tia and do Elite doubles with Tia. Maybe Hunter's the one on the outside looking in.
Okay.
Maybe he doesn't have the option.
That is 100% happening. That is 100% happening. They're both Aussies. They were at the gym the other day together. Yeah, that's a fucking wrap. Okay, you're right. Forget what I said.
So I like anything from Giordano's, but preferably the Meat Lovers deep dish is great. Just wait on it. It takes about 45 minutes. You got to let it cool down a little. That's fine.
All right. Now, is a bet solidified if we didn't shake on it and the show didn't even end first? I mean, I think the show would end. It's like, 5 innings of baseball is called a game. I think if we bet and we got off this, we didn't even make it through the episode.
No, Matt, I'm just saying, just like I said to my wife, I'm tired of being right.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably going to happen. Tia and
it does seem like a likely scenario, to be honest. Like you say, they're training together. They're putting all those videos out together. Yeah.
All righty. So, I called you and told you I couldn't figure out why I couldn't.
You went to your PT.
Yeah. So it's the rotator cuff and other small muscles in there that I need to work on. And she said no more than 8 pounds, because if you go any heavier than that, you're going to use the other muscles. And the bending over, okay, this activates a way that here you have all this stability, right? All this, because I was like, how come I could do wall balls? How come I could do overhead presses? But I couldn't. The snatches are what took me out, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why. So we're going to work on that, plus core, plus posterior chain, all the stuff that's firing incorrectly in my body.
All the catchphrases.
It's just all the stuff, man. I mean, and she said something very interesting. She said all the stuff that matters when you're 50 that didn't matter when you were 40. And that's really the truth, because I really got away with a lot. And you can get away with a lot until stuff starts to finally break down in different ways. And I know that doesn't mean I'm done by a long shot, because I'm not. But I just have a lot of work. I just have a lot of work to do, because things don't fire appropriately for me, and I've never worked on them, and now I need to work on them. And
when it's important, people skip all the accessory strength. And I'm like, don't skip accessory strength. You can't just do the big lifts all the time.
Right. Well, yeah. So,
Let me tell you, man, that's a load of crap. Get out there, grab some heavy fucking barbells. Let's go, man. Throw them around.
Well, she does say that.
That's the fun part.
She does say, she's like, you need to be moving more weight. Like that's what I would tell you.
We're going to do when she limited you to 8 pounds.
Well, right. But she talks about just in general how, like you got to be squatting more, you got to be deadlifting more. Like we got to get you in the gym and doing all that shit. So it's funny. Somebody early in the comment said, yeah, Matt, going to Planet Fitness and being your own trainer is not going to get you very far. And I agree. So I will tell you the same thing that I said to her today, which was, I signed up for Planet Fitness in December because it was like, okay, am I going to put this off? Or am I just going to fucking do it? This place is up the street. I can drive there in 5 minutes. It's like, just get it done. Knowing it was a starter, you know what I mean? Knowing it was it's like Dylan talked about going for a run in his jeans. Cause it's like, if I stop to change, I might not do it. It's like, I'm in the mood. I'm going to go right now. And I did it. I knew then that this is just a little starter. So I'm probably going to do strength. She teaches strength training classes. I'm probably going to start seeing her when I get back from this trip, and then eventually add a gym with actual weights. I mean, with more stuff, right? Because they don't have any freestanding barbells, they don't have the machines, et cetera, et cetera. But listen, it was a great starting point for me, and it was $15 a month, and I'm really glad I did it.
You can do a lot with any gym. I mean, if they got a couple of dumbbells, you can do a lot.
No, of course,
Yeah.
but it does have its limitations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, for sure.
And the rowers they have, I think, have seen some better days. I'm always afraid it's gonna snap on me when I'm like any day now, this thing's gonna just fucking snap on me.
That's just because you're hauling on it so damn hard, man.
I really am. Let me ask you. You know what? You know this tip that what's his name? AJ gave me that I hadn't really focused on when I asked him for a tip for my relay. Was he was talking about just keeping the rope straight, or the chain, as it were, just straight. Just work on that more than anything. Like, don't let it drop and stuff. Would you agree with that as a really good point? Because I never really paid it that much attention.
Yeah, that's one thing we go over a lot in our. I mean, you can like, I could talk about how to row for 30 minutes on here, but that is one of the like most basic cues I think you can give somebody to focus on, is just keeping the chain like parallel to the floor at all times. And it's just for efficiency in your stroke, really, but control too.
Are you how much? Because I know with the erg, right, the ski erg, you once you pass a certain point, you're doing nothing, right? It's negative, whatever. With the erg, I think I asked one of you, should I lean back a little bit more, and you said no, it's negligible to do that. But should you lean in more on the in? Because I was kind of playing with that last night.
I generally, like, as a basic cue, I just tell people to think like 10 and 2. Like, that's a pretty good like range of motion. And if you visualize on a clock 10 and 2, it gives you a very basic target of movement.
Do I need to convert that? Is that Canadian 10 and 2?
It's
10
a
and 2.
clock.
You don't have a 10 and a 2 on, I guess, digital now. Oh crap. I gotta get with the times.
She's supposed to be young. You're old. You're supposed to know how to do a face clock.
Well,
But,
I think
like,
I know.
okay.
Listen, I know when you start driving, they say 10 and 2.
Yeah, 10 and 2, man.
So how is that? So how does that have anything to do with the ski erg? I mean, the rower.
The rower.
Body's straight up and down. If your body's straight up and down, that's 12. On your
Right.
lean back, right? Go to 10. On your lean forward, go to 2.
On, your
On
lean
the rower.
forward.
On the rower, yeah. Because when you're coming forward.
Mhm.
And I will say this, I'm going to add to this, that a lot of this also depends on the pace you're going and the type of row you're going to do. If you're out there for 1,000 meters, your stroke can be very different than if you're out there for 300 meters or 200 meters. It can change completely.
Let's back up a little bit on this 10 and 2. Okay, sorry. This is very. I'm gonna have to open the door.
It's
of this
just a
thing.
good visual for like the amount of hinge and lean.
I thought it was really obvious, Amber. I thought it was a good reference.
You know what? This is one of the most basic cues I give my members, and it just gets them, because some people will go all the way back and they're like pulling up to their neck, and I'm like, no. Let's
But
just.
when you go forward, you're
Yes.
still, because your butt is scooching, you're still vertical.
Yeah, so then you lean forward.
I do a
lean
little bit of a lean, but I
forward,
have the
forward.
mobility to do that. Like in my ankles, you don't want your heels coming like super high off the foot strap, right? So like that's just again, this is general cues you can give people, but then you do have to adjust according to the human, right? Like again, I have great mobility in my ankles. I could probably go like a lot more, but some people don't. So they're a little bit more at that like.
Yeah,
11,
I don't have a
12.
ton of mobility. That's what I believe we've learned from my earlier part of the conversation. I'm working on all of it.
Yeah.
There you go. Chris just gave you a nice tip in the comments. Don't let your shins go past vertical.
There you go.
Don't let your shins go past vertical. Okay, hang on. I gotta mentally. Takes me a second. My shins, okay,
Yeah.
go past vertical. So you want them straight up?
Yeah, don't let them go any further than perpendicular to the floor.
Okay. Can I
And I'll be
borrow that?
honest, mine don't go anywhere near that.
Can I borrow that thing you have? Can I borrow that level that you have, Dave?
Yeah. I'll get you my torpedo level.
What were you gonna
I
say?
think like
Amber?
the biggest thing to not overcomplicate it is the focus on the drive through the legs and then the pull. And like I use a lot of lats specifically in high rocks to try and like save my legs a little bit for what's coming. So I tend to like use a little bit more lats when I'm doing high rocks. But the biggest thing to don't overcomplicate it is keep your heels as close to the rower as you can on that forward stroke. Drive through the legs, pull hard, and make your release a little bit slower than your pull.
A little bit slower than the pull.
Mhm. So
Okay.
you're like
You
recovering
went
on that
one step.
forward
You were
stroke.
doing really good with them
No,
there.
no,
You went
it just
one
took
step
me a
too
second.
far.
Well, no, because that's what
I had you for a second.
No,
So
no,
on
you
the
got it.
forward
You
stroke,
went one step too far.
recover.
One step too far.
Drive,
no,
pull,
because that's
recover.
no, because
Drive,
that's exactly
pull,
what.
recover. It's the rhythm. It's a dance.
Yeah, that's what the Erg Queen gave me on the ski erg that I've remembered, and she's always like, pull down, float up, pull down, float up. So I get that going. You're just saying now, what do you call it? Transfer that over to the row.
So
Yeah.
slow
Don't-
forward,
Right,
drive, pull, slow forward.
right. All right.
But the ski erg's kind of the same concept, right? Like it's just going in a different direction.
Yes, exactly.
Well, no, actually, it's not really the same. But like the idea of the like power, the power and recovery is kind of the same concept.
All right. What else do you have on your list today, Dave? I think that's all I got.
Just ignore all that. Get on the son of a bitch and rip the hell out of it. That's
Right.
all you got.
Don't do that.
Just fucking crank it. Yeah, you
I
see me
don't
on the road,
recommend.
like 500 meters. Just get on there and smash it. Smash, smash, smash. All out.
Oh, big news. Big news. Hyrox announced a second day in Atlanta. That's great news, except I have no idea why you would wait until 6 weeks before the event to launch a second day when you've been sold out for months. So I'm not sure what the thinking is there.
Because
it's like if
questioning Hyrox's wisdom.
Well, I like a lot of things they do, but
You're
that one
kidding.
didn't make
Black
sense
Paul.
because
Yeah.
yes, they're going to get people that were sold out, but again, did they like forget? Because again, you either rented the day or you didn't, right?
You got to remember some other things can come into play, right? They might not have even known the venue was available. They might have been difficulty with contracts, difficulty with union labor at different venues to have people to show up to work it. There's a lot of stuff that
Right, but once you're in for that weekend, you're like, hey, should we do 1 or 2 days?
No, not necessarily. Like they booked it originally for 1 day. Then to try to add that second day, it's like I say, if you're dealing with and me as a union guy, if you're dealing with union labor in a facility, right, there's a lot of rules to follow, and it can be very, very difficult to secure that second day because that second day is on a Sunday. A lot of shit changes.
Right, but again, you're an event company that puts on 2 and 3 day events all the time. This is not news for you. So again, there could be a perfectly good explanation. Like, actually, Matt, there was going to be a convention, and that convention got canceled, and so we said, "Fuck it." Like that could totally be it. I just think if you're thinking as a sport, like, hey, if I'm newer, you might think 6 weeks is too soon for me to train for it. Just that's kind of the thing that I was thinking. And trust me, I'm thrilled. It means I get to race more than once. I'm thrilled.
So does that mean no podiums on a second day?
Well, and again, then we have that whole thing, right? Which also is not great. And that's probably what we're going to get, right?
Yeah, probably.
And they did say some Saturday spots. So I guess that's cancels or moves or whatever. So some Saturday spots are going to open, limited, and then I guess a full day of Sunday.
There you go. Yeah, it is good. I know there'll probably be some people from Canada jump on that as well and head down. It's not, I mean, it's probably about a 14 to 16 hour drive, or it's a short flight, provided you don't get stuck there for 2 days. Other than that, it's fine.
Martin Loftus checking in. I think people, not pro, so that's me, should focus on GPP, which stands for
General Physical Preparedness.
General Physical Preparedness. I was going to say General Physical Fitness, but there's no F in there. Have heard numerous athletes say they made noticeable gains in fitness by doing something other than narrowly focused sport-specific work. But isn't that what's great about Hyrox is you don't really just focus on Hyrox-specific work. You are training your whole body to move. It's not like, hey, I'm just going to do whatever. I'm just going to.
If you're just running and doing those stations, you're missing out on a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't
like to an extent. I mean, like.
Yeah, but
general fitness is the foundation.
Strength. Yeah, exactly. You have to build your strength. You have to build your stamina, the other thing, not just do stations over and over again.
100%. But then it does come down to what is your goal? Because if you're just doing a bunch of random stuff and then you're going to try and line up beside Hunter, like, okay, what is your general goal there? Because general fitness will take you so far, but I think the athletes have taken that benchmark so high now that general fitness will only take you so far. But if your goal is just to get out there and have fun and, dabble with some age groups, I agree.
Yeah. And that's why I think he clarifies with not pro, right? Just for
okay.
you're getting in there and.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Is this Martin Loftus the baseball player, by the way? Do you know Martin Loftus?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I don't even know. I don't know the baseball player either. So I don't. Martin Loftus is an unfamiliar name to me. I might know Martin Loftus and not know that I know Martin Loftus because I'm really bad with names.
Right. Were there any other topics you guys wanted to cover?
I did a High Rock Strong this weekend too.
Wait a minute. You did a High Rock Strong?
How was that?
Was it at where was it at? Farm Girl?
No, it was at Elite Performance in Burlington. Gym in Burlington, Ontario. It was great. We had a good time.
Sunday? Was it Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah. So we did Amber's event on Saturday and did this event on Sunday.
How far was the drive on this one?
An hour.
Okay.
So short. Amber's is like an hour and 45 for me. This one was like an hour.
Dave, when you leave your house, okay,
everything's an hour away.
Do you fill your gas tank before you leave town or like when you get on the road?
When I get on the road, because there is no gas station directly in my town.
Okay. Do you stop at like a Timmy's?
There is no Timmy's in my town.
But do you stop eventually?
You call it Timmy's. That's so Canadian.
What you guys call it?
Yeah, you hit it right. It's one of the accents you did proper.
I'm a world traveler, Amber. Hello.
I'm impressed. You've been to Toronto once and you've got the Timmy's down pat.
I've been friends with Ryan Atkins for 12 years though, so that helps.
Get to Timmy's for a double and go for a rip, bud.
I hit Timmy's up on the way to every race for a donut.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Honey dip donut.
What do you do?
Me?
Dave, do you hit?
No. Well, I will say for Amber's event, because of when we had to leave early in the morning to get there, I had egg and cheese on English muffin sandwich from Tim Hortons.
Okay. That's my next question. Do you and Rye have some go-tos, or do you have like, oh, this is what I always go and get my wife?
Not usually, other than our peanut butter and maple syrup sandwich 90 minutes before a race.
Aw.
That's my go-to 90 minutes before races, peanut butter maple syrup sandwich.
My wife only drinks cold brew, and the cold brew at the Dunkin' near me, like half the time it's not cold brew. It's just really shitty iced coffee, and she doesn't take a lot of stuff in it, so I can't go there. So I have to go to the Costa now pretty much all the time to get coffee for both of us because she's not going to drink the Dunkin' cold brew, which is not very good.
Yeah, we just don't get those options. We get a gas station that's about 5 minutes from the house, and then the next gas station is at least 30 minutes away. Anyway, I wanted to talk about my
I want to hear about it, but I just want to get another.
No, you're gone. You're off on a tangent.
He said old retired guy. You still haven't said if you're the baseball player or not. Just tell me if you're a baseball player in what position. Go ahead, Dave. I want to hear what a High Rock Strong is, first of all.
High Rock Strong, which I actually like to call it Hard Rocks because I think High Rock Strong just doesn't work for me.
I like Hard Rocks.
Please, if High Rocks wants to rename this, I'm on board. Call it whatever you want. Just High Rock Strong doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, all the stations, no running. Just back to back to back to back. I will say the one difference on this one, and it took me a little bit to figure it out before we were going in, and like times were really fast, but they only did 50 meters of sled. They didn't do 100 meters. So that did make a bit of a difference.
I was wondering because I saw the times really and I was like, times, holy crap, who are these people? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the sleds it was brand new turf. So the sleds were moving very well. And they kind of combined the push and pull together, much like they did at Holistic Athlete at the Fetchick's gym. But the Fetchick's, I believe we did 100 meters of sled. This one, we only did 50 meters. And it did make a difference, not only in your time for the takes to sled, but the amount of fatigue that it hit you with.
What is it in the regular event? How far is it?
50 meters push, 50 meters pull.
Right. So why are you saying only 50 if that's what it is in the regular one too?
Because they combined the two. So we did essentially 25 push, 25 pull.
Okay. That makes sense.
So they did like push, pull, push, pull.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that was a little shorter there. Other than that, everything was pretty good. Their farmer's carry was put out well. You instead of burpee broad jumps, you're doing burpees onto a plate, much like we did at other gyms, just for sheer space. Lunges were a good setup. Wall balls were great. I did like they did this really well with their wall balls. They had a nice rig set up, and predominantly we're only using one side, but then did have another side prepared in case of overflow and people getting slowed down and stuff. I don't know if they ever had to use it, but it was nice to see that they had prepared it really well. But yeah, it was a great event. We had a lot of fun. It was well attended. I had a good time. I got a little kid in trouble, and that's always fun. Yeah, so I got on the rower, right? And there's this one of the kids. By the way, they had very good volunteers, and I'm gonna tell you the story about the kid, and in a way I'm gonna say is it was my fault and I got the kid in trouble. But at the same time, I was actually really impressed with what his mom did. So right after the burpees is the row. I come off the burpees and there's a kid there, or sorry, I'm not even off the burpees yet. There's a kid there by the rowers, and I said, "Hey kid, get on that rower and put 500 meters on it for me." Right? And he's like, he just laughs and he jumps on the rower and he starts going, right? And then I get there and obviously I reset the screen, but then they tell me, "Oh, don't use that rower anyway. Use this one. I use that one." And the kid's still there. I'm like, "Hey kid, get on that rower. We'll row with me. We'll chat and row." And so I'm doing that, and his mom comes over and she's like, "I told you not to get on any of the machines," and she's giving him hell, right? And I said, "No, it's me. I told, I said to get on. It was all my bad. It's my bad." So I'm like, I did actually go up to her after I showed the video of me talking to him on the rower and telling him to get on, to say like it was really my fault. But I was really happy in the same way that she did it, because a lot of times at these events, and I've seen it in events that I've been on, where kids get on the stuff and they screw around with it and they mix up settings and it gets all a mess. And then when a competitor gets on there, it's gone to shit and fucks up the event. So I was glad to see her as a volunteer that had kids there being aware and being on top of it. So I'm really good. As much as I got the kid in shit, I was glad that she did it.
Yeah, the first DECA in Atlanta, what was that, 2021? So my kids were a little bit younger, my boys. And yeah, there wasn't a lot of people there, and it was late in the afternoon, and they of course found their way over to the bikes and found their way over to you, just like, wee.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Your kids, right? That looks fun if you're a kid, right?
Yeah, that's why the one thing I will say is, if you are at an event like this and you have a kid, send them into the warm-up area. Let them cause chaos there. Just keep them off the competitive stuff.
And I do, like, I mean, my little guy's, he's been raised in a gym, but it's one of those things, like, they learn gym etiquette too. Like, the more you bring them, the more they learn that gym etiquette, right? And I mean, he's well seasoned now. He understands, like, he always does like an unofficial run through. My little guy's 6, but shout out to AJ, because he's just the best. He always runs with Ryan.
Right.
No matter how many races AJ's done, he's
That's
going
because
out
it takes
again.
AJ to keep up with him.
Well, actually, okay, here's a funny story. I told this one to AJ last night. So yesterday we were doing, shout out to Chelsea Grant, her birthday workout yesterday. And my little guy Ryan decided he wanted to do it with me. So we ended up just like, he tagged along with me. I keep him close. I watch what he's doing and he's respectful, whatever. Anyways, so it was our turn on the ski erg. So I just said, you go 30 seconds, I'll go 30 seconds until it's time to get off. And he starts just like going so hot. And I'm like, we're going to be here for a few minutes. I'm like, hey, Ryan, like slow down a little bit, deep breath in, hard pull. And anyways, long story short, at the end of the workout, she had us in 2 teams, and our team, we lost by 500 meters. And you know what Ryan said to me? He goes, okay, he's 6. He's got quite the little attitude. Mommy, if you let me go the pace I wanted to, we would have won. And I was like, oh no, it gets better. So then I go, well, actually, Ryan, sometimes you got to play the long game. Like, you don't want to burn out too soon. It was smarter to pace yourself than it would have been to go the pace you wanted to. He goes, well, I'm a high energy person and AJ's okay with that. So shout out to AJ. I guess AJ lets him just go ham on the ski erg in his
There you
deck
go.
race.
And yeah, I think it's good to teach your kids proper etiquette, right? Because like you see a baby curling in the squat rack and you're like, come on, what are you doing?
But they know, and they do, like, I mean, again, Ryan's been raised in a gym now. I think it's really powerful for them to be immersed into people, seeing them try hard things, fail, try again, succeed, win, lose, up, down. And I think it's like something society's doing really good at, is immersing kids into fitness sooner. And I think we're seeing a shift, especially in young females, like strong is the new skinny kind of thing, right? Like it's very exciting for me to see as a trainer. Like we've had
That's
an influx.
not true, by the way.
What?
In America, that's not true. DEI is over, and that's not even true anymore.
Strong is no longer good.
Nope.
Well, strong is the new sexy in Canada, and
Strong
we're
is
going
the
to
new
roll
sexy.
with it.
I'm on board.
These Canadas aren't getting my American jokes. I agree, and I also want to say, just for people who have kids like mine, because I do see people, I see Bethany and her kid, like, and all that stuff. If your kids don't do it with you, even though you do it all the time, don't take it personally. It's okay. My boys came with me to every race. Actually, Emma did when she was little, and then just my boys. And then there was just a point where they were like over it, and they're like, "Yep, we're not coming with you anymore," and that's okay. And I wish they would, and it would be awesome if they would. And I think when River gets a little older,
it can come back around.
It might come back around for him because he's just so much fucking energy anyway. But yeah, it's like don't feel bad if your kids don't follow you into fitness necessarily.
Well, and it definitely ebbs and flows. I mean, I'm not cool enough to actually Ryan won't actually do his unofficial races with me because I'm not cool enough.
Right.
But he's got enough people in this world that will do it with him that he wants to do it with, so that's good.
Right.
And I'm always so grateful for those that do, right? Because especially being a parent, that's a big deal to see them putting themselves in that scenario at such a young age and just going for it. They're learning so much more than just fitness, right?
Right.
So
right. Well, I do think, my kids have watched their parents. My wife goes to the gym every day, right? And so they've seen that, and they've seen me do whatever I do for the last however many years. And so it's rubbed off on them in some way, right? They know mom and dad aren't doing blow right in the bathroom, right? So we've done a pretty good job. But again, they don't participate in anything right now. Maybe they will, maybe they won't in the future.
I will tell you, and I'll tell you guys your future, even though Matt, I know you're a little bit older than me, but my kids are much older than yours.
Yes.
And eventually, if you keep going, if you keep doing this, it'll come around to the point where I'm at, where all my son's friends and my daughter's friends are like, your dad's a fucking monster. And they're like, my dad is half unconscious, drunk on the couch all day long.
Right. That's kind of where I was. That's
your dad is out there fucking killing it. They're terrified of me, but they respect me. And it'll come around to that stage. And I mean, Amber, you and Zach are in for that for sure when your boy gets up there, and Matt, I don't know, maybe. But at least Stacy they'll respect.
Right. They are scared of me more than her though. But
okay. That's good.
But they should be more scared of her. But come on, she's a mom. You know what I mean? That's the kind of usually goes that way, right?
I don't know. I think I'm scarier than Zach when it comes to my boy.
Who's louder? It's who's louder, I think.
That's a tough one. I couldn't even guess that for you guys. I couldn't even guess that.
All right. Well, I'll start a poll on my Instagram after this. Who's louder?
Your voices carry pretty good in the gym, so that's a tough one.
All you listeners, go to my Instagram in about 10 minutes and vote.
Do you have a TikTok?
No. Should I?
Neither do I.
I like doing all the TikTok challenges that people send me, though.
Right.
Those are fun.
Okay. Like TikTok challenges or like TikTok dances?
Well, nobody sends me dances, but I would try and do the dances if people sent me dances.
Okay. That's what I understand is TikTok is all the dances. Dave, are you doing any of the TikTok dances?
No.
No, there's partner challenges. There's one where the guy grabs the girl by the one leg and reefs her off and she just pops up. So we've done that one. There's another one where I'll just start sending you all mine and Zach's crazy acrobatic videos. There's another one where the guy lifts her up and she spins around and then catches. That's my next one. Somebody sent me.
I just noticed. Are you both wearing Deca Atlas shirts?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have one of those. Do you want to know why?
You gotta come do one. Oh, you didn't finish.
Listen, I wouldn't take one. I just for the record, I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take one. Amber won't remember, but when my daughter met Zach just a few months ago, she was all giggles. Says Houston, Texas 94.
Aw. Zach's a softie for the kiddos.
All righty. Well, listen. Watch HFM this weekend as I travel across the pond and get myself in trouble with my bad accents. I'm headed to Hybrid Games, which has now been renamed its original name, Hybrid Northwest, because unfortunately the two guys split up. So I'll be Hybrid Northwest in Stockport on Saturday, and then I'm taking a train to Glasgow for the Elite 15 on Wednesday, and then I'm maybe going to do a race on Thursday. But yeah, lots of fun footage there. Who are you rooting for, by the way?
In the Hybrid Northwest?
No, in
Glasgow.
Actually, we could actually
Maria, obviously.
We can actually talk on Monday. We can actually do this call on Monday, I think.
Possibly.
Wait a minute. It will be 5:30 Ooh, it'll be 10:30 at night. I might still be awake though.
The lineup is pretty stacked though. Like the men's and the women's Elite 15 for Glasgow it's like world championships pretty much. It's going to be a race to watch.
All right, I think we'll be able to record next Monday.
Sure.
I would have put it sooner in the show though if I thought about it. I'm like, oh, maybe when we do next week, we should talk about it. How do we do the Deadly Dozen? Zach, you asking me?
Is that
gym?
Zach asking?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a gym event? Or
He
do you wanna
wants
do
me
a-
to host a Deadly Dozen, and he told me to ask you how do I do that.
Okay,
Who
well,
do they need to contact?
so you will need to contact in America. I'm pretty sure you contact Mark and Lauren,
Oh, okay.
unless you want to be the Canada Deadly Dozen person or the Eastern Canada Deadly Dozen person. Then you can maybe talk to Jason himself. What would you like to do? What do you think? You want to have a bunch of events? I think I should put you in touch with Jason.
We could do a lot of events. I mean, I love hosting events. If all else fails, I'm going to be an event coordinator. So,
Right. Well, I mean, let me ask you that though. Side note, let me ask you that. As these things continue to go, is that something you could do? Would that work for you? Like, hey, we held like 3 weekends out of the month. We have something like, let's say DECA, Deadly Dozen, a Half Rocks, or whatever other things that are coming down the pike. You know what I mean?
you would, well, see, I would almost just, I wouldn't do it that much. Like you'd strategically space it out according to the year.
But what
I
if
mean-
what if the demand was there? What if people are like, come on, we need more events?
But then the demand isn't there when you're doing it all the time. You got to like space it out so that they're
And-
capable of
And you got to
hitting
think
the events.
every one of those races is taking from the same pool of people essentially, and you're going to bleed them dry really fast.
Hmm.
Like not just from interest, but from finance.
What about the new people?
Yeah, the new people.
We
don't care
actually,
what
we
you
did
do.
have a lot of new people on the weekend at our event. Like we had more new faces doing DECA Strong than familiar faces. So that was exciting.
But you can't throw it 3 weeks.
I don't know. I was just thinking. I was
No.
just thinking out loud.
I would probably cap it at like if I was going to do something like one a month.
Yeah.
And like it would, depending on the season we're in, it would depend on what event it would be. Like, yeah, there's certain things I would maybe only do once a year.
I feel like I've seen a Deadly Dozen skull with a flag, but maybe I haven't. With a Canadian flag, but maybe I haven't.
I don't know.
That'd be cool though.
How do you feel?
I do want to try it. Like I was just going to try it in my gym, just kind of off the books anyways. But I mean,
well,
if
but
we can
there's a
make an
couple. But
event
there's
out
a
of it-
couple different ways to do it, though. Even in the gym, there's a couple different ways to do it. Would you like to know?
We
the couple
have a
different ways?
400 meter run, like exact. Like Dave, you know, well, it's lots
Yeah.
of potholes right now, but they're paving it. But to the road and back is exactly 400 meters.
Yeah, there you go.
So it would be easy to do at the gym. Even I mean, a track would be fun.
So
But then you
could
gotta
do-
like play with like, oh, is it gonna rain? Do I need tents? Do I, like?
right.
Yeah.
So in the gym, you can do an erg where instead of the run, you do a row ski or bike. But I think you got to
Oh.
stick with the same one. I think you got to pick one.
I
of
don't
them.
know how that possibly works unless you have a mountain of ergs, because then you have to let one person finish their entire thing. So, I mean, if you had a buy-in on one erg and a buy-out on another erg, that would work. But let's
Well-
just say, for argument's sake, if you have, say, 5 bikes and you're doing it with bikes instead of running, you can't send another group of people until the first group's done because they'll run into each other.
No, because Matt said they have to do the same erg. So like
I don't
I
know
could have
though.
15 people going at any time because I have 15 machines. So if they claim like their rower,
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
then
But
they
still,
would
you
that would
got-
be their rower until they're
Yeah,
done.
so that means you could send 15 people probably every hour-ish.
Yeah.
depending on when they get done.
I know that he wants to build towards track events. I know that's his big thing. But I think you got to start somewhere, and yeah,
Yeah. Gym event is just easier because of there is no machines in Deadly Dozen.
correct.
So you would just do it in the rain.
Plates, weights, and dumbbells. That's his whole promise, is that you don't need
100%
machines.
So then then it wouldn't be hard actually to do it at the track actually. Because in my head I was like, oh, then I got to get
Let's do it
tents to,
then.
like, cover
Let's
the
do it.
machines, but-
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. You have your people call my people.
I would love to come up. They would give me an excuse to come up there too, right?
Yeah, you told me one time on a podcast you would come up and we would do the journeys together. And we would do it as a team. You told me that.
Good day, legends. Is this? Wait a minute. We have too many farm. This isn't Farm Girl. This is Farmer
No,
Fit.
this is fine. This sounds very Australian.
What Australian questions do you have for our Australian guest? We were asking something. I forgot what we were asking about something Australian related.
Are there
Other
snakes
than
where you
talking about
live?
Tia and Joanna, I thought that was it.
Sorry, I opened this
Oh
up.
no, the question was what time was it in Australia?
Oh no, I already know that what time it is. It's 9 p.m. I think. Or sorry, it's
9 a.m. the next day.
it's 11 a.m. the next day. Hey Siri, what time is it in Australia right now? All right, don't talk.
In Canberra, Australia, it's 11:02 a.m.
So they are 16 hours ahead.
Mhm.
Can't do math. Oh my god. All right.
Man.
All right. Well, I think this would be awesome to get a Deadly Dozen in Canada. Dave, did you think about coming down to the Chicago one in June, or is that not feasible?
The Chicago Deadly Dozen.
Yes, track event in June.
I would love to, but I have to really look at my calendar. I'm literally swamped with shit. Like I'm really packed.
Is it
So
DECA related?
there's some decorated, there's other shit. Like I'm slammed. So
Okay.
it really just depends on the day.
I would go depending on if I qualify for Hyrox Worlds or not, because
Like,
that's also in
I'm
June.
not opposed to that distance or the road trip. It's not bad at all. It's just like calendar is really full.
All right. Well, are you doing your show still?
Me?
No, this lady.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah, your pod. Don't you have a podcast?
Yeah, Karen and I
Okay.
started back up. We had a lot of just stuff. We had to step back for a little bit. We both had a lot of kind of life stuff happen outside of
Not
fitness.
so easy, is it, to do one of these
But
fucking
we're-
things all the time?
We're back. So we did an episode last week. We've got a guest coming on this week who does a lot of like the O2 Max training, and he's going to just talk about that and why you do it, how you can apply it to your training. So we'll be recording that on Wednesday, so it'll be up next Monday. We usually release it on Monday. So
I saw a little clip on Instagram there of something you guys were talking about, and I really want to listen to that one. So it looks good. Oh, Jesus.
yeah, the last we were talking about over training, under training, because that's a very common thing in.
What got me was the influx of Hyrox hybrid trainers, coaches, possibly underqualified hybrid coaches.
Is that what you were talking about on the
We
show?
did kind of touch on that about making sure you're choosing someone.
Then
who
they
is-
put it out there as clickbait, Matt. It was genius. I'm all over it.
I'm firmly against that.
We did touch on, doing your due diligence, let's say, before working with a coach,
Right.
to say it
Um,
nicely.
Dave, what do you got going on over on the OFX podcast?
We might actually have 2 episodes this week because I had sadly, Matt, I'm going to have one that's kind of like yours because I had a similar interview with the boys from Montreal, and then Bethany and I as well have a one capping some of our.
Are you telling me those bastards like just used me? Like they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna go on all the shows.
Yeah,
Motherfuckers.
probably.
No, I had reached out to those guys as soon as the event was happening, and it was supposed to be me, Sam, and Will today. Will froze constantly, so if you get Will, you'll outdo me. And you know my show. You know I really stay on track anyway. So
Yeah, I think they would be very, very different. Did you read Tiago's? I did read Tiago's thing, and it was very interesting on the coaching topic. Sorry. Yeah.
Do your research, folks. Don't just pick someone because they got a pretty a nice butt or a pretty Instagram graphic. Make sure you choose wisely. So you had those guys on, and then what else?
And then Beth and I have our general preambling shit we're going on about. Talk about our stuff, our events that we're doing.
All right, go check those guys out. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, go to your
Thanks
local
for
events. They're a
having
lot of
us.
fun.
Go